All right, we are live on Speak Life Enterprise webinar empowerment series, and I am truly excited tonight to have Eltavez Pelzar. She has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful name that I've been just practicing for the last 2 minutes, so I wouldn't mess it up because it's different, it's set apart, and that's good. That's the way it's supposed to be. Set apart, not a carbon copy, not the same. So I'm excited to have her on the show tonight. I hope that when she speaks, the earth starts trembling. Amen. You know, she's already
Amen.
told me she was on Periscope on today, and she was speaking life to the relationships there. And so I'm excited. I got my little pen, and y'all know how I do. I'm gonna be taking notes. So I'm gonna come on social media now. And it's when she starts speaking, I'm going on mute. So for 45 minutes to 50 minutes, however, you're gonna hear her. You're gonna hear her speak life into the atmosphere and to the relationship. So I'm gonna come on social media because those of you that are here, she just shared it on her wall as well. So some of you are here that's not a part of Purpose Professionals, but we need you to get in the group Purpose Professionals so you can ask questions and I can get them because that's where I'm going to be getting all the questions from. I'm going to be reading her repeat tweets, so on the book. So I want all of us to be in the same place. And when she starts speaking, I'm going on mute. I'm going to be taking notes like you, because all of us need some life spoken to our relationships. Somebody need to repair the breach right now. I know I'm excited. I know she got something awesome. So I'm gonna just hush up. I'm gonna just hush up right now. And without further ado, this is my beautiful sister.
Oh, it knocked
There
me
you
out.
go.
I told you
I
the enemy
said
is mad.
that's all right. He is upset. He is upset. Come on, and that's okay. Long as we have prayer, we gonna praise you, Lord. It's okay. I'm right here. We are alive still.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. I am so excited. I was pouring out and leaking on my Periscope with my Perry family, my pressers, sharing with them about tonight's topic. I am excited. When I tell you this topic has been really on my heart for, oh my goodness, ever since I first spoke and said that I would do it. And this week, since it's coming up, the enemy is mad. He is angry and upset, but that's okay. He just has to deal with it because we got some things to talk about today when it comes to speaking life to your relationships. And my topic for this evening is actually going to be ripples in relationships. And we don't think about it as how I'm going to present it tonight is not a way that you thought about it before.
Mm.
So the basis for my topic for this evening is Mark 4:38, and that's when, to give you a little backstory, that's when they are in the boat with Jesus and they had been told to go to the other side, and waves had started, a storm had started brewing, and it had gotten so bad that even though Jesus was sleeping in the boat, they went and woke him up. But I want you to pay attention to this particular verse, because in this particular verse in the NIT it says, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" when we get into relationships, be it personal relationships, when it's relationships with our children, when it's business relationships, we do not go into it thinking that a storm is going to come. We go into it thinking, let us go to the other side. And it's so powerful because we think about it like that, that when we go into our marriage, we don't think about the divorce. We don't think about someone, a parent. Oh, he just gonna keep knocking me out.
Wow.
He just go. I told you, he just gonna keep knocking me out.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm going back on mute.
Okay. So again, it was about let us go to the other side. When we think about relationships, when we think about our children, we're going to the other side. We want to see the end result. There's an end result in mind that we're going towards. When we think about our relationships, our husbands, when we think about our business relationships, we want to go to the other side. We're not thinking about something coming up in between, something in the in-between time. We're thinking about going to the other side. But ripples are going to come. And when we think about those ripples, we got to think, if you look at a pond and you throw a rock into a pond, ripples go out on all sides. It affects all those around. So everyone you're connected to, when a ripple occurs in your life, it affects all those that are attached to you. It affects your children when your job changes and you have more responsibility. It affects your marriage when a loved one passes away. It affects everything that's attached to you. Any ripple that you come in contact with, it will be affected. Everything will be affected. Everything. Now, what we fail to realize is when we see these ripples, the ripple size will be dependent upon the rock. Now, the rock is going to be whatever circumstance, whatever obstacle comes up in your life. You'll have some that'll make big ripples as far as getting all the way up to a wave. And you'll have some that'll be smaller ripples. We need to be prepared for those. But even if we're not prepared for those, we need to understand that Jesus said, peace be still. And if he can say, peace be still to a storm and the waves calm down, then he can say the same thing in your relationships. It's something that we have to understand. It's something that we have to come to grips with. We walk into it excited. When we are at the wedding, we are excited. Listen, we dancing at the reception. But when one of us loses a job, when a child comes into the picture or a child gets ill, when we lose a child, when something happens, something occurs, that rock that is thrown into our pond, those ripples, it knocks us down. And I've been on a boat before where it was small waves. And if you're trying to stand up and it's small waves, you get a little shaken, you get a little thrown off track. You can stumble and fall. So when you think about the ripples in your life, you have to think about the same thing. You can stumble and you can fall. Ripples are going to occur. They're going to happen. But we have to understand that the same way Jesus said, peace be still to the storm, he can say, peace be still to you. And peace be still to your relationship with your children, no matter what it is that they're going through. Because we go through so much. Our children, we want to shield them. We want to protect them. We want to cover them. When we think about our relationships with our spouse or our loved ones, I'm currently single, but I am dating. When I think about whatever he's going through, I think about wanting to shield him. I think about, praying for him and keeping him covered, keeping the children covered, keeping everything moving forward. But a ripple will come up. something will happen that will knock us off track. And when ripples come, we have to stop. Oh, here it comes. When ripples come, we have to stop being quiet. We have to stop being quiet when the ripples come. Because what happens is we get so caught up in the waves and how they're knocking us off track that we become quiet. We don't want to talk to someone. We don't want to tell somebody that we're dying on the inside. We don't want to tell somebody that we're hurting. We don't want to tell somebody that our relationships are rocky. We don't want to tell somebody that our children are acting out, that we don't know what's going on with them. We don't want to tell people that. Because we're scared. We're scared that people will look at us a whole different other way. We're scared about what people will say. We're scared about how people will feel. We're scared. But the reality of it is ripples are going to come. And the same way that you are going through ripples, someone else is going through the same thing. And someone else went through it before you even got there. Open your mouth. Speak to the storm. When Jesus left, he said that we will do things that are greater than what he did. Speak to your relationships. What are you saying about your children? What are you saying about your husband? Are you saying that he will never love you the way that he used to? Or are you speaking that we have a genuine love for each other, that we grow, that we move forward together? What are you speaking? When it comes to speaking life to your relationships, it's important that you do not forget that the enemy wants you to close your mouth. He wants you to be quiet. He wants to choke the words out of you. He wants to choke the words out of your heart, because if he can do that, then someone will not get saved. Someone's relationship dies off. If we weren't a part of this Speak Life webinar, somebody's relationship would be dying off. Someone's children would be struggling because a parent would be scared to speak life to their relationship with their children. They would be scared to speak life to their businesses. When we think about our businesses, we think about the connections that we make in networking, and then something happens and we're like, what was that? Just a second ago, everything was fine. Everything was working great. But we have to think about it. What are we speaking to our relationships? Are you speaking what you see, or are you speaking what God told you you would see? On my scope this morning, I shared that your words are either a bridge. They will either create a bridge or a prison. Think about that when it comes to your relationships. Your words will either create a bridge or a prison. It will create a bridge for you to connect with more people. It will create a bridge for you to be that voice for those who are voiceless. It will create a bridge for you to have a better understanding of that other person, or it will create a prison. And what happens is when it creates a prison, you become this one person, this one man show. You try to be a one person army. You shut everybody else out. But it's about speaking life to your relationships. And I'm telling you this from something that I had to learn myself. It's about speaking life to your relationships. The ripples that are coming, the ripples that you have already overcome, it's about speaking life. They're going to come. You may stumble, you may fall. But what are you speaking in the midst of it? What are you speaking before it happens? And what are you speaking after it happens? One of the other things is when it comes to relationships, especially those who have been hurt, those who have dealt with, those who have dealt with abuse. When it comes to relationships, because of the abuse, we feel as though that our mouths do not have the power that God told us that it does. When you have gone through abuse, we feel as though the words that we speak have no meaning. But it's time to come out of that. The word says you have life and death in the power of your tongue. You speak life to your life. You speak life to your relationships. You speak life or you speak death. Again, it's either you're building that bridge or you're building that prison. And I had so many opportunities to step back from this and say, you know what, I don't want to do this. No, this is a bit much for me. This is going a little far for me, but it's something that needs to be said. It's something that needs to be shared. Nobody has a perfect relationship. No one, let me repeat it, no one has a perfect relationship. But they have a relationship that works perfectly for them. No one has a perfect relationship, but they have a relationship that works perfectly for them. In order for that relationship to work for them, there has to be communication, there has to be honesty, there has to be growth, there has to be change. We think about relationships and think that, oh, we can stay the same, we can be the same person. Well, if you're thinking that with any relationship, that you will be the same person at the end of the relationship that you were at the beginning, then you need some things reevaluated in your life. Because change will happen. The same way that those ripples will come, change will happen. We change every day. We learn more things about ourselves. There are things that I know now in my 30s that I did not understand about myself in my teens or my 20s. There are things that I know and understand about myself now that I'll accept and won't accept. That in my teens and my 20s, I was like, oh no, let's go. And you looking at your own life, if you look back, you can think about it and see there are things that you accepted in your teens and in your 20s that in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you're like, no, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And it's all about change. It's about those ripples. It's about what you learned from those ripples. That's the other thing, is that when ripples occur, you can either take something from it or allow it to be something that cripples you. You learn from it. Every experience in life, no matter what it is, you have the opportunity to learn from it. It can be your opportunity or your obstacle. I love giving analogies because I love making things plain and simple for people. I love making it so that way you have no other choice but to understand it. But you can make it an obstacle or an opportunity. And that means no matter what, again, it can be from you being on that hospital bed and them telling you that you only had weeks or months to live. It can be the rape. It can be the divorce. It can be anything. It can be anything. That is your obstacle or your opportunity. That was your ripple. And it sets you up in a place that you weren't ready for. It sets you out into an area of the pond that you did not want to go to. But you learned something from that area, that new part of the pond. And for some of us, the ripples are just there to show you that you can swim. That you can make it, that you are an overcomer. But we got to speak life. We have to think about the things that we endured and the things that we went through and speak life to it. I made it through. I overcame. I connected with people. I stood out. You got to be able to speak life to it. People don't want to share about divorce. They don't want to share that they were the ones that got cheated on. They don't want to share that they were the ones who cheated. But guess what? You overcame it. You learned something from it. Speak life. It was a learning experience. I joke with my good friends. It's a group of us, maybe about 4 or 5 women. And I always joke with them. I said, no matter what the relationship was, you learned something. One of my relationships, I learned how to make bigger pancakes, because I was making small pancakes. I learned how to make a big one and not burn the edges or nothing. Listen, you learn something from every experience. You learn something. You learn something from every experience. Each ripple, you got the opportunity to learn. You do. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted that you overcame. Don't take it for granted that you made it through. Don't take it for granted that you came out of that abusive relationship. Don't take it for granted that you chose to do something about your health because of how your family talked about you, but you chose to do it for yourself. Don't take that for granted. Whoever said it to you, that was a ripple. That was a rock thrown into your pond. But you chose to do something about it. When the finances were gone and you guys were scraping the bottom of the barrel to make it through, and you looked at each other and said, I got you. We have this. We will do this. God is on our side. If God is for us, then who can be against us? That those opportunities, those things that came about, and you were like, you know what? It's gonna be tough for us to go for this opportunity. It's gonna be tough for us to, we're gonna have to stretch some things in order to try out this new business, in order to move forward in this ministry, in order to move forward with what the children want to do, in order to bless somebody, in order to go ahead and put money on something for someone else, in order to show up at someone's door with food. Those things that you did, don't take them for granted. The fact that you're able to tell someone you love them, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. That's part of you speaking life to your relationships. That's part of you speaking life into those you love, telling them that you love them. And our children, it's so funny when they get older, you say it out loud when they're around their friends, they're like, oh, come on. But don't stop saying it. That speaks life. When you know that you are still fighting for your relationship because you can, that's speaking life. Because the thing about relationships is it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not meant to be simple. It's not meant to be easy. You are meant to change. You are meant to grow. And we come into relationships so many times looking to change the other person. But we're the ones that get the change. We're oftentimes the one who need the change. But we're looking to change that other person. No, love them for who they are. Love your children for who they are. If they stand out for all the right reasons, love them. If they stand out for all the wrong reasons, love them. Tell them you love them. Speak life to that relationship. Because when they stumble and fall, when something comes up in their life, they're going to know they still have you as a support. No matter what. That's purple hair, blue hair, tattoos, nose ring, anything and everything. Love them still. When your husband or your wife has that moment where they just need to be alone, they break down and they just want to be by themselves, and they have that quiet moment, love them through it. Speak life. Speak life. Because they need that. Again, those ripples are going to come. They're going to show up, and they're going to show up. Some are going, again, there's some are going to be small, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, we made it through that. High five. And then you're going to have other ripples that you're going to be holding on for dear life. Going, what is going on? Why are all these things happening all at once? And that's the other thing. When we look at the waves, it's not just one wave hitting you. You got one wave hitting you from one side. You got a wave hitting you from the front. You got a wave hitting you from the back. You got a wave hitting from the other side. And you're in the middle trying to figure it all out. And you're in the middle trying to figure it all out. Trust and believe. You're not alone. You are not alone. So many people get caught up in thinking that I'm going through this by myself, so I don't want to tell anybody. They don't want to speak to a counselor. They don't want to speak to a coach. They don't want to speak to a pastor. They don't want to speak to anybody because they're like, no, they're not going to understand. No, people will understand a lot more than you think. They will understand. And for the ones that don't understand, maybe it's meant for you to teach them something. Okay. Maybe that was meant for you. You sharing it with them lets them know that whatever they're going through it's okay. They'll come out on the other side. It's about ripples, guys. It's about speaking life to our relationships, no matter what that relationship is. It's about, what are you praying over? Are you praying over your business, but not praying over your family? Are you praying over your family, but not praying over your business? Are you missing out on something? What are you not covering? I had to go back to doing morning prayers with my children before they leave. Because all types of stuff goes on nowadays. From the time they step out the door, from the time you step out the door, you know it on your way to work, when you get to work. Oh, the things that you go through at work, that's a whole other situation. The things you go through at work, what are you speaking life to? Are you speaking life to the customers that are coming in? Are you speaking life to the business clients that you have? Are you speaking life? Those are relationships. Are you speaking life to those? Or are you forgetting about those and allowing those to come as they are? You may have someone come in contact with you that you have been praying about or praying over, and you don't even know it. And as soon as they open their mouth, you like, I had you covered. I had you covered in my prayer earlier this week. I didn't even know you. I didn't even know your name. And I had you covered. We got to speak life to these relationships. It's about covering ourselves. It's about covering our loved ones. It's about covering our businesses. Every time you connect with someone, that is a different relationship. And I know when you think about it, you probably thought, okay, she's going to speak life to relationships. She's going to talk about, my book, my back. Well, it's more than just your boo, your bae when it comes to relationships. That's just one relationship. Hopefully, prayerfully, that's just one relationship. But it's about your relationship with your children. It's about your relationship with your parents. That's another big one. Because oftentimes we think about, the things that we went through as a child, what we endured, what we didn't have. But guess what? They made do with what they could do. They made it do what they could do. They did what they could in order to get you to the place that you're at. It may not have been the best. You may not have had everything that you wanted, but they did it. They got you to where you were or where you are. And it may not have been your parents. You may not have had a relationship with your parents. You may have been a foster child. You may have been doing kinship and living with grandparents or aunts and uncles. You may have been living with a sister. There's all types of relationships and there's all types of communities building and growing and raising children. So whatever your community that you came from, how are you speaking life to those relationships? To those people who invested in you? How are you speaking life to them? Are you showing up every day? Or are you allowing the day to just go? And whatever happens, happens. Whatever occurs, whatever comes, will come. It's about speaking life to relationships. It's about setting yourself apart, setting yourself up for greatness. It's about setting yourself up for greatness. It is. And the gentleman that I am dating right now, I was single for 7 years. God literally had to send a word for me to let down my wall and let down my guard in order for me to say yes to dating someone. And in letting down my guard, I had to come to grips with anything that I had dealt with in the past. I had to come to grips with any reservations that I had about getting in another relationship. I had to come to grips with bringing someone into the lives of my children. I had to come to grips with, but coming to grips with it meant that I also needed to speak life to it. I needed to say that God, if you told me to break down my wall, then whoever you brought into my life is going to be great. I didn't say perfect. I said great. Whoever you bring into our life is going to be great. Again, not perfect, but great. And in learning and growing, I can tell you the first 90 days, I was praying so much. God, I don't want to do this. No, Jesus, no. You're doing too much, Jesus. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this game. Tap out. I don't want to play. No more. But guess what? I had to pray through it because God was showing me things in my life that I needed to change, areas where I needed to strengthen. Take that time to learn the areas that you need to strengthen within your relationships. When it comes to your children, when it comes to your business relationships, when it comes to your spouse or your loved ones, when it comes to your family, your siblings, find out where you need to, I'm about to come with it. Find out where you need to be still. Where are those moments that you need to not say anything? You just need to be still. You need to listen. Gain an understanding of where that person is coming from. That's part of speaking life to that relationship, because sometimes speaking life means speaking life in your prayers and listening and being present in the moment. Again, sometimes it's about speaking life in your prayers and then being present and in the moment when you are in front of that person. It's not always about telling them what they need to do, what needs to happen, what needs to change. It's sometimes just about you being present in the moment with that person. Just be present. And then go off and be still. And know that God is God. Be still. Just listen. Oh, he'll tell you. I did not like the things that he was telling me. I did not like the things that he was showing me. But he'll put that mirror up in front of you and he'll say, okay, so let's chisel away at this part. Let's chisel away at this part, because he's making you a better individual. He's creating something in you. And those ripples that you went through, they brought you to where you are now. No matter where they are, no matter what they were, no matter how big that thing was, no matter if it was a wave, no matter if you fell out the boat, that thing brought you to where you are right now. And when you think about that alone, all you can say is thank you. All you can say is thank you. That's all you can say.
Thank you, Jesus.
Woo-wee. But it's about speaking life to your relationships. I know I've said a lot. I told y'all I was excited about this thing. I said a lot. But your words will be either that bridge or that prison. You choose today which one it will be. Are you speaking life to your relationships?
I'm over here just bathing in your words, honey, because you're giving out some good nuggets. I'm about to go to social media. I'm about to go to social media. I've been on mute. I've been on mute now. I've been on mute. And it's time to go to social media because she said, find out where you need to be still and listen. That was one nugget. Find out where you need to be still and listen. Great, not perfect. That was another nugget. I was over here taking notes. Great, not perfect. Okay. Oh, and this was real good. It's more than your boo out there that you have a relationship with. Did y'all hear? It's more than your boo. That then you need to cultivate the words that you're speaking in the atmosphere about. Is more than just your boo. I thought that was too cute. And I love the fact that you had folks covered before you even met them. You had them covered with the words. And what are you praying over? Did y'all get that when she said that? Wait a minute, because I know one thing. When you said open your mouth and speak to the storm, Michelle Kirkpatrick said we have to be naked and not ashamed. She said I am covered. And then my cousin Griselda Ramsey, she liked it, and also she liked you are an overcomer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No one has a perfect relationship, she said, but has a relationship that is perfect for them. And she said, it's time to come out. Did y'all hear that? It's time to come out.
That's
and,
right.
and here's another one, because then I'm gonna let you keep going, because you said your words will connect a bridge or prison. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So when you think about your words, our words have power. They have strength. Our words can build up a relationship. It can build up a person, or it can put us within a prison, or it can put someone else within their own prison. So for instance, when it comes to you saying to your children, you're intelligent, you're bright, you're smart, you do amazing work, you do great things, I am proud of you. That's building a bridge. When you tear them down and said, you'll never be good at this, you'll never be good at that, you'll never do anything right, I can't stand you, I hate you, those words build a prison. Those words will build a prison, not just for yourself, because you are building a wall between yourself and that person. So the prison that you're building is you're building a prison room for them and a prison room for you, and you are separating yourself from that person by what you are speaking. And we we find ourselves doing it in our relationships when it comes to our spouse. You listen, again, great, not perfect. They will do stuff that you do not like. Things will occur that you are not the happiest with. Your children may do things that you do not like. But again, what are you speaking to them? Are you going to speak life and create that bridge so they always have that open line of communication with you? Or are you going to not speak life and make that prison to the point where they feel as though they have no one to speak out to? That's something that we look at and we see so much in the school systems today, is you have so many children that come to school and they have no one to talk to, so they're talking to their peers. And the information that they should be getting from their parents, from their loved ones, from those who helped raise them, they're getting from someone who's in the same predicament, the same level of knowledge as them. So then they become scared to go to someone in authority. And now we have adults who are scared to go to a counselor because you're scared of what they may say. You're scared of what they may think because of that prison that someone built with their words earlier in your life. But if you're building that bridge, then you let people know and understand that communication is important. Don't be afraid of communication. Don't be afraid of it. Again, we get scared. We get so scared when it comes to talking to people. When it comes to talking to people about what's going on the inside of us. People are so quick to walk around with a smile on their face while they are dying on the inside. They're literally crying on the inside and walking around and saying everything's good. Hallelujah. Praise them. I'm blessed. But in the inside of them, they're thinking, Lord, why me? Why have you put me in this predicament? Why am I here yet again? Why am I going through this? What are you doing with my life? The whirlwind is going around. The storm has been brewing and brewing and brewing. And a lot of times when we see things like a divorce, when we see things like people going to drugs, when we see things about like people lashing out, that's the end. That's that storm. That thing got full blown storm. But there were things going on when the wind started and the boat started to rock that we did not see. And because they were scared to communicate, we didn't see that boat rocking in the beginning. We didn't see the wind start. We didn't see the clouds start forming. We didn't see the clouds start casting a shadow. We didn't even see them start to cover the sun. And that's something right there. Because we don't see what someone is going through. We don't see the clouds that are covering the sun. And I'm not talking about the sun, S-U-N. We're talking about the sun, S-O-N. There are clouds in someone's life that is covering the sun. They can't pray in the midst of what they're going through. They feel as though they have no one to talk to. They feel as though they have no one who will understand because the clouds have covered the sun. And when you speak life, you are speaking away those clouds, allowing the sun to shine in. So again, we don't see those clouds forming in people's lives. We don't see the clouds that are over top of them as they are going throughout their day. But as you speak life, you are the one who are dispersing that cloud because they can't do it themselves. They don't feel strong enough. They don't feel like they have what it takes. They don't feel like God loves them anymore. They don't feel like their family loves them anymore. They think that suicide is better than living. They think that, them turning to drugs is better than them dealing with what they're dealing with. They think all these things because of what they endured previously, because of the prison that they're in. And that prison that they are in, what we fail to realize is that every prison has a door. Every prison has a door. And God is the key to get out. Every prison has a door. And God is the key. Your words are the key. You speaking life is the key to get out of that prison. How many of you would stay in a prison with an unlocked door? How many would stay in a prison with an unlocked door? How many would stay in a prison with a door that is wide open? But we do it every day because we're scared to speak life. We do it every day because we are scared to speak life. We're scared to speak life to our relationships. We're scared to speak life to our businesses. We're scared to speak life to our families. We're scared. So we stand in a prison that is cold and damp, alone, fearful of what is on the outside of the prison, but in pain while we're inside the prison. So if for no other reason, you came here tonight for me to speak life to you and say that the prison door is open. It's time for you to speak life and walk out that prison. It's time for you to speak life and build some bridges. It's time for you to take some time, take a day out and take your children to the park, to the playground, to the beach. It doesn't even have to be sunny out. Go to the beach and just walk on the boardwalk. Take a cooler, go get lunch meat, go get bread, go get whatever you want on it, tomatoes, lettuce. Go to the beach. Be still. Take that time and move and just go somewhere else. Get away for a moment. Take a walk. But that prison door is open. Through this conference, through this webinar, through this awesome woman of God, that door is open. It's time for you to speak life and walk through that door. Come out of that prison. And we are very creative. We come up with all these ideas. We worry because of, and we have fear. And it's all these things that we have created within our minds, within our thought process of that could, would, might happen. It might happen. So I can't come out of this prison because when I come out of this prison, I might have to speak about it. It might happen. Someone may not like the words that I say when I come out of my prison. Somebody might not like how my clothes look when I come out of the prison. Somebody might not like how I smell when I come out of the prison. It's not about that. It's about you coming out of the prison. It's about you standing in what you have and speaking life to what you have. You got to come out. You got to come out.
That's right. Sis, I want to let you know you have, and I was watching a young lady, even when she said her name is Audrey Yo, and she said sometimes being silent is the best way to go when challenges arise because the wrong words can come out, wrong words said can wound.
Yes.
She said, speak. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I want you to tell them how to contact you, what kind of products you have, if you have a book or anything. I want them to know more about you and what you're doing, and if you're speaking, any more speaking engagements. I know you're on Periscope doing an amazing job on Periscope, making the enemy mad, speaking life into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
I'm really excited about it. I was actually checking you out a little earlier, and that's what you're doing. You're encouraging and you're equipping, and the women, and I love it. I love that you're using your voice to do what God has commanded you to do, without being afraid, because He truly did not give you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And I hear it as you
Amen.
speak out into the atmosphere that you're not ashamed and you're not afraid to be who he designed you to be. And thank you for taking this. Pretty much it was this was, like you said, the devil been mad at you ever since you said I'm gonna speak life.
Exactly.
And people need to hear that when you make a stand, when you make a stand against the enemy and you say, I'm going to speak life to the atmosphere. I'm going to speak life into relationships. She pretty much let us know that the enemy has been mad, and you see, he tried to shut her down,
Yes.
even on this webinar, like, and cut, but
Not once, but twice.
but twice. But when God is in it, there is no limit to what we can do. And he said he has prepared a table before us in front of our enemies. So already know that this was going to go forth and it was going to be amazing and great. We didn't say perfect. Yes, I like that. We didn't say perfect, but we knew it was going to be amazing and great.
Yes. Yes.
So I want her to take this time to let you know more about her, how to contact her. She's going to put it up in Purpose Professionals. And we want to thank you guys for being here and for taking it in and soaking it up and also making it applicable to your life. So I'm going to turn it back over to her, and she's going to tell you more about her and how to contact her. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys again for joining this evening. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this great opportunity. My name is Altavice Pelzer. You can connect with me here on Facebook. Well, no, we're on Google Hangout. You can connect with me on Facebook, Altavice Pelzer. You can connect with me on Periscope. My handle is @AltavicePing. I'm also on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm that power presser. I do a scope and a Facebook Live during the week in the mornings. And it's our morning press, helping you to press into that next stage of your life, press into your relationships, press into your business, press into your family. That is what I do. I'm an encourager. That's what I love. I currently have my first book out. It's titled It's Okay to Cry. And it is currently on Amazon. And what you heard tonight was actually part of my second book, Ripples, which will be available at the end of this month. So if you connect with me, you'll have information about that. Also, what I am doing is anyone who is on the webinar tonight, if you inbox me on Facebook, we can connect and you will be able to get a pre-copy, the ebook of the new book, Ripples, by this Friday, before it's made available in print. So I want to give that out to you guys for joining us this evening. Again, this is just one part of that book. So imagine all types of stuff going on. But it's about speaking life. I had to learn to speak life after dealing with the molestation of my two girls, after being moving 2 states away from my family and everyone that I knew, all of my friends, and literally having to rebuild and start over from scratch, going through dealing with fighting against homelessness, trying to find employment, all types of things. So the book series is 8 stages of getting through difficult situations. The first one is It's Okay to Cry, and the second one will be Ripples. And then there are still 6 others that'll be coming out within the coming months. But it's about speaking life. I had to learn that. I had to understand that and know that God gave that to me. He gave me that gift to speak life, not just into my family, not just for myself, but for other people. It was scary. Getting in front of people, you have all these different fears and reservations. You think about aliens coming and attacking you, all types of craziness, right? Because again, we have great creative minds. We think about all types of stuff. But yes, it's about speaking life. And it's about pressing through it. I tell everybody every morning, press it out. It's time to press it out.
Amen. Amen. Press it out, you guys. Press it out. Well, I want to thank you again for gracing us with your presence here on Speaking Life Empowerment Series, and you have been truly been empowering, and that's what you do. You encourage. You're an encourager, and you have inspired some to keep going. And so I want to thank you. And I know I'm kind of losing my voice, but I want to thank you. As long as I'm half breath, I'm gonna praise you, the Lord. I'm not gonna stop. So I want to thank you for just signing up and for giving us your expertise on speaking life into the relationships. And you guys get her book. Get her book. She's gonna put her information out there on Purpose Professionals. And I also encourage you, if you have a business, that you add your business also on Purpose Professionals, because you never know where you guys can link up or have programs or anything together. So that's what we're supposed to be doing, encouraging each other and keeping each other with life and with life more abundantly with the words that we're speaking into the atmosphere. So I encourage you guys to keep pushing one another in Purpose Professionals, because y'all truly do that purpose, and you do have the power of life and death in your tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruit. And so you have to decide what kind of fruit you want to eat. So again, thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you again and hearing you again in the future. And we absolutely love you. Thank you. Yay. Bye, you guys.